Good evening and welcome to another broadcast brought to you by AudioSportsOnline.com. I'm Aaron. I'll be joined in a minute by my color commentary partner, Alex Maston. We're broadcasting live from the south side of Indianapolis tonight as the Roncalli Rebels are set to host the Decatur Central Hawks. And Alex, as we were talking about just a minute ago, we haven't had a chance to see either of these teams. Roncalli comes in with a record of, I believe they are 5-2. And Decatur Central comes in with a record of 3-4. So this being week 8 of Indiana high school football, things really starting to take shape and teams starting to hit their stride as both teams are set to take the field. What do you expect to see here tonight, Alex?
Well, I expect to see a lot of running. The weather right now is not looking real great. It's very gusty and pretty hard rain and cold too as well. So, tonight a big key tonight's matchup between these two teams is who can not turn the ball over and who can control the line of scrimmage to get a good running game going. From there, that's where you develop what the game plan is going to be. And, I expect both teams to go out there and try to knock into each other and get some holes opened up on the offensive line. Roncalli loves to run the sweep, and I think Decatur Central is going to go more of a veer option with a spread option as well. And we're about to get kicked off here.
And the kick is up and away, a nice kick. It'll be fielded at the goal line for the Rebels. And he's got a lane, and nice carry there out to about the 30-yard line by number 20 for the Roncalli Rebels. And that is Daniel Ferry. A very nice return out to the 30-yard line where Roncalli will take over. And, Alex, as you were talking about, if it's 75 and sunny, we're still going to see a lot of running tonight. So with the weather as inclement as it is, we expect to see just a heavy dose from both sides. The option attack from Decatur and the power running game, power sweep plays from Roncalli.
Absolutely, and both of these coaches have a long tenure here at both of their respective schools, and they don't like to abandon their game plan. So they're both going to try to run the ball and control the clock and the line of scrimmage as Decatur Central makes a very good tackle to minimize damage there. Running back was number 38. That's Dylan Evans. He's a 5'8", 200-pound senior, and I didn't see who made the tackle there, but it was a very good play. And to get them in second and long is a good way to start for Decatur Central.
Yeah, a 1-yard run there for Roncalli. And back to the line of scrimmage once again. And the pitch is made, but the play is blown dead before it gets a chance to get started. And it'll be a false start on the Rebels, so that'll back them up and make it 2nd and 14 here for Roncalli.
Yeah, and with weather like this and the conditions that are out here, that's definitely something that the coaches do not want to see is errant mistakes with small penalties such as false starts and delay of games and whatnot. So, Roncalli's putting themselves in a bigger hole with 2nd and 14 here.
And you mentioned just a minute ago about abandoning the game plan. Roncalli was forced to do that last week, and we'll touch back on that in a second here as the shotgun snap is made. Throw is high, wide right. Quarterback for Roncalli tonight is number 15, Cam Smock, as he looked to the flats for his receiver and just couldn't make the throw. It sailed high, and it'll be 3rd and long for Roncalli. But touching back on last week, Roncalli threw the ball maybe even a record amount of times, 50 times last week. A lot of that was due to, the play of the Martinsville Artesians. But what do you think about Roncalli throwing the ball around that many times? I know you're not used to seeing it.
Well, they certainly have a good quarterback. We've heard a lot about this junior quarterback, Cam Smock, who, watching him warm up, he has a very good arm and strong arm. But, that's not what Roncalli wants to be able to do is, they don't want to have to air it out and be faced with these long 3rd downs.
And Smock has to sprint to his right. He's looking downfield, can't find anyone, and he tries to make something out of it, but just can't. He'll get brought down on the Decatur Central sideline for another 4-yard loss. Roncalli going to be forced to punt on their first possession. And, Alex, you're running out of sideline and you don't have anyone downfield. You got to just throw that ball out of bounds and not lose any more yards for your team.
Yeah, and he didn't do a bad job. I think he only lost a couple yards there. It's 3rd down and long. He's probably not going to get a first down in that situation. But, very good job by Decatur Central to get out there and force Roncalli into a 3-and-out. That's exactly what the coaches want to see as the snap is very high and, definitely potential tonight for some special teams plays and especially, on the blocks.
As this return Looks like it could be a good one for Decatur Central. Back around the Roncalli sideline. He's just got a couple men to beat and is finally brought out of bounds, but not after an excellent return there by number 9 for Decatur Central. And the returner on the play was Daniel Malloy, and a fantastic return there as he made a man miss. That's going to be good for just about a 30-yard return, 35-yard return, we'll call it, on the play.
Yeah, very good wall set up by Decatur Central here on the near side of the football field, and they were able to execute a very nice punt return right there. And, starting in Roncalli's territory is exactly what they want to do with this run game.
And the first play from scrimmage for the Hawks is a fullback dive up the middle. We're going to see that veer play quite a bit, a little triple option. I'm sure they're going to throw in some wrinkles of it as the night goes on. First carry is good for 3 yards, Alex. And what are you looking for out of the Decatur Central offense tonight?
Well, first and foremost, we were told earlier that there is a new quarterback starting tonight. It's number 3, Tommy Stevens, who's a sophomore, listed as an athlete, moved from receiver to quarterback. He's a very athletic kid, and the key tonight is his decision making. And quickly I've seen that they like to run this veer option and also a lot of counter plays, but one thing I also noticed is that the splits of the linemen are very, very, very wide, which goes along with this veer option. It lets holes open up in lanes for there to be quick handoffs, and it allows everyone to have the opportunity to bounce outside if they need to.
Spreads the defense out a little bit, which will help open up that dive play as the night goes on. The second carry was good for about 2 yards, maybe 3. It's going to be 3rd and 4 Decatur Central. And the ball is placed actually at the 30-yard line of the Rebels, so we might be in 4-down territory already for Decatur. I don't think we're going to see too many field goals attempted tonight.
I certainly think so, and this is exactly the down and distance that Decatur Central wants to have on 3rd down, is the 3rd and 4, having the option to still be able to run that veer option. And right there, Roncalli made a very good play to make it 4th down and 3.
And as I expected, we're going to see a 4th down play here from Decatur, and this is a big opportunity for Roncalli after being forced 3-and-out punt situation and then giving up a big punt return. This will be big for the Rebels if they can stop them here. And the quick pitch around the outside, that's going to be good for a 1st down Hawks. So a nice 4 plays, just about 10 yards, maybe 11. But they get the job done and move the sticks as Decatur will hold on to the ball deep in Rebel territory.
Yeah, and this Decatur Central's offense, with their colors as well, is looking very similar to a Georgia Tech offense where they have a man come in motion behind the fullback, and they have the option to run the veer or that quick sweep like they did right there, and a very good running job by the tailback to get those extra yards and get that 1st down.
The rain is still steadily coming down here on the south side, and we expect to see it throughout the course of the night. This carry up the middle, a very nice play there. A great job up front by the offensive line for Decatur. That's going to be about a 7-yard gain, and those 1st down carries are going to be really important for the Hawks tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get yourself in a manageable 2nd and 3rd down, like we talked about, you don't have to abandon your run game at all, and your options will open up from there, being able to do play actions and whatnot. And this rain is really going to determine how they're going to make these play calls. And with this new quarterback, I really expect that they try to run the ball a lot tonight.
Yeah, speaking of the new quarterback, this will be big for him on his first drive if they can muster up some points here, as there's some room around the outside, but it's quickly closed. A nice tackle on the edge there by number 47 for the Rebels. That is Tyler Mullen, the linebacker, 5'11", 215-pound senior. Nice tackle there, preventing Decatur to finally turn the corner and get some more positive yardage, but close to a 1st down, and we're going to see a 3rd and short here for the Hawks.
Yep, and once again, I expect Decatur Central to really just pound the insides with those big splits, and picking up a 3rd down right here shouldn't be too hard for them.
And it's stuffed. A nice play behind the line of scrimmage there. That's number 5. I believe that's the linebacker Mason Nickel. He also a senior.
And that was a fantastic job. He pretty much submarined in there and dove right where the handoff was taking place and was able to trip up the running back. But a nice job by the running back to get a couple, extra feet to dive up there and not lose his feet immediately.
Yeah, didn't lose yardage, just probably got back to the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd, 4th down play of the night upcoming here as the referees blow the whistle, and I believe Decatur Central has taken a timeout. So we'll have the first timeout of the night. We are scoreless here at Roncalli. 5:59 remaining in the first quarter. And Alex, what kind of play call do you expect to see here?
They're definitely in field goal position here, but I don't expect them to try to kick a field goal with this wind and the rain that's coming down right now. They've had success in the very first fourth down that they had with the sweep. Go back to that sweep, see if their defensive ends are containing like they should be on the defense. Test the Roncalli defense right now because, with this home crowd, this is a great time to get momentum under your belt and get in there and maybe score a touchdown.
Well, you're a Decatur Central team that's on the road. You're 3-4, and you have a chance to really become the aggressor tonight as you've taken the ball from Roncalli. You're deep in their territory, and I think, like you mentioned, test this defense. I mean, you got to go full force and try to see what you can get away with early on while you're in a favorable position here. And the run is up the middle, and that'll be good for a first down, and then some as the offensive line gets behind the back and pushes him forward for an extra 4 yards, and a nice fight from the big guys up front there for the Hawks.
And a very good job by the running back right there. He's able to initially jump over one of the defenders, and the lineman got right behind him and just kind of gave him a push and gave him an extra 5 yards. So look at Decatur Central down here inside the 10-yard line and got first and goal here. And this is, like you said, a great time to make a big push right here.
Yeah, make a statement early on. And it is first and goal from right at the 10-yard line. And a pitch to the outside, looking to make a move. A nice open field tackle there, but still a good 4-yard gain, maybe even 5 for Decatur Central. Nice play on first down there, Alex.
Absolutely. And, I love the play calls that's going on by Decatur Central. They are testing these defensive ends of Roncalli who, for the most part and historically have been very athletic, and they're making them stunt inside with those large gaps. And when they do that, the tackle and the tight end are able to just block him inside, and it leaves a very nice lane open and one-on-one tackling with the linebacker and the running back.
Well, and a nice balance so far from the option on giving it on the dive and running it outside. You're not going to let those defensive ends get too comfortable. And this play, more positive yardage for the Hawks as they get to about the Roncalli 2-yard line. As I was talking about, Alex, the defensive ends, whenever you're playing the option, they have a long night ahead of them.
They sure do, because they're going to get hit or hit someone every single play. They have a job to either come upfield and take the quarterback or crash down really hard on the fullback. So you're tackling someone virtually every single play.
And one mistake of crashing down, and that outside boundary really gets open there, and you can give up a big play in a hurry.
Absolutely. That's another thing about this option. It can be a very risky, play calling program, and looks like
Roncalli's going to stuff them right at the goal line. So we'll see the third, fourth down try here for Decatur Central, and you got to think if they push this one in, that's a big momentum swing to open up the game.
Absolutely, yeah. It's basically score or turn the ball over at the 1-yard line. Got to go for it here, and like you said, it's definitely a good opportunity right here to come into this home field crowd and basically quiet them up a little bit.
Well, quarterback's under center, and it's a bobbled snap. But it's a false start, and I believe that'll be, let's see here what the call is. I believe the false start was called before the play happened. Can you decline that, Alex?
Well, they didn't call it a dead ball false start.
I see.
Illegal motion. And so basically Roncalli just deferred the penalty, and they get the ball back. So as we were talking about, it'd be such a good momentum squeeze to get into the end zone. Roncalli just got a lot of momentum right back with the turnover on downs.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity there by Decatur Central, and a very nice drive. Even the punt return to set up the drive and shot themselves in the foot there down around the Roncalli goal line. But Roncalli didn't have much success on offense last drive, so we'll see if Decatur may still be able to put some points on the board as the quarterback's heels are going to be right at the goal line. Blitz coming for Decatur Central. And he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Nice play there, by the Hawks.
Absolutely. And, if you're Decatur Central, Roncalli's on their 1-yard line. They don't like to pass the ball other than last week when they were behind. This is a prime opportunity to send the house. Just really blitz all out and see if you can maybe get a safety here.
And number 84 checks in the ball game for the Rebels. That's Wes Fry, the wide receiver, listed at 6 foot 479 pounds. He's also a senior. And the snap is taken. The pitch deep into the end zone. Roncalli will get it out to the 5-yard line. Alex, a very dangerous play there in the rain to pitch it 6-7 yards deep into your end zone.
Absolutely, but that's Roncalli's bread and butter right there. The
You're
power
exactly
sweep
right.
with the quarterback leading out there as a blocker. When we played for Zionsville back in the day, when we would play Roncalli, we got a whole taste of that. Every single play was a sweep, and it's tough to have a quarterback get out there and lead block for them, but they're usually up for the task.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6 yards to go here for the Rebels, and we'll see if Decatur Central can't force another 3 and out here. And 4 down linemen. There's a blitz coming on the edge. And Roncalli's quarterback goes deep. Jump ball, and the play is made there by number 10, David Hewitt. Alex, for a minute there, I never thought that ball was going to come down.
Yeah, it was looking like it was sailing a little bit, and it was a very, very nice play. Honestly, the defensive back was right there in position to make a play. He just kind of overran the route. So very nice pitch and catch there, especially being a 3rd down on the goal line.
David Hewitt, another senior wide receiver, makes the play up in the air. That'll take Roncalli's offense out to their own 30. Reverse here as Roncalli looking for some room. Nice open field tackle made, trying to get a number from up here in the press box. That is number 4 for the Hawks. That's Jack Weldon, a junior linebacker.
And that's a very good tackle, as you alluded to. He actually kind of tripped on the play and was able to get up and get his balance and make that open field tackle. And if he gets beat right there, that running back and receiver is just screaming up the sideline.
You mentioned he fell down. That's a good effort play. That looks good on film on Saturdays, getting knocked down, getting right back up, and still making a play.
Absolutely.
We're under 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Roncalli, a handoff, and a lot of running room, and it'll be taken past midfield into Decatur Central territory. The running back on the play, number 3, David Holtkamp. And a fantastic run there for about 20 yards on the play, Alex, as Roncalli is moving the ball. They've started out on their own goal line, and the ball is now at the Decatur 48.
Yeah, and that was a very nice play, a nice little counter play. And one thing I did notice is that the tight end on the near side of the field was having really good job blocking downfield. That's a big key to a running game, is having your receivers and tight end being able to block downfield.
And the fullback dive is made good for about a 2-yard gain, maybe 2.5. And the fullback on the play, Alex, I've been trying to make out his number. Can't quite do it. Looks like 42 to me from up here.
Yeah, it sure does look like 42, and I think we've actually mentioned him tonight. He's one of the captains, I believe. Luke Otley plays linebacker and running and fullback, so he'll be playing both sides of the ball.
Otley talking to the quarterback actually has an equipment problem here as they try to get his chin strap figured out. He can't get it buckled, and Roncalli might have to burn a timeout.
Well, yeah, I think they're going to pull him out of the game for an equipment timeout. The refs just kind of stop the play, and honestly, it's kind of a nice deal because the play clock resets, so they're able to get the new fullback in there and tell them what the play is.
Mark Finelli, the fullback, checks in the game, number 34. It's 2nd and 7 Rebels. The pitch is made to Holtkamp again. He gets about another 2 or 3 yards. So we're going to look at another 3rd down here for the Rebels, as looks like the equipment situation got figured out. The quarter's going to end. We'll switch sides of the field, which is only going to require the ball to move about 10, 15 yards. And we'll come back after 1 quarter of play here. It's scoreless at Roncalli High School. AudioSportsOnline.com. Back here for the start of the second quarter, Roncalli's facing a 3rd and 5 just inside of Decatur Central territory. Ball is placed at the Decatur Central 42. Looks like they're going to have to get just past the 38 in order to get the first down. So we might actually be looking more like a long 4 here. I formation here for Roncalli with the halfback split right. And the pitch is made to Holtkamp, and he cannot get much yardage. Gets about 2 and is brought down. So decision time here for Coach Bruce Cypress as Roncalli's facing 4th and 4 just inside of Decatur Central territory. Saw a nice punt return earlier by the Hawks, and
we sure did.
Gotta wonder what he's thinking. It looks like his punt unit is going to come onto the field.
And in this weather and the rain with the wind, I think it's a pretty good call. Try to play
Field
the
position.
field position game. It's very effective in high school football. Although Roncalli in that drive did start on their own 1-yard line, so they were able to go about 47 yards right there, 57 yards. And looks like Roncalli is going to punt.
Another high snap, rugby-style kick, and a lot of pressure comes. It'll still be fielded. No, the punt is muffed, and it's going to be – no one can seem to pick it up. Finally, Decatur Central lands on it.
And the ref is calling a touchback. I think in high school football, even if you do touch the ball outside of the goal line, if the ball goes into the goal line and you recover it, I think it is still a touchback. It's not a safety, because as a punting team, you can't take the ball further after you return it if it is muffed. So fortunately for Decatur Central, they catch a break there, and
a huge break for the Hawks. That had disaster written all over it.
You just kind of have that feeling, though, throughout this night, there's going to be some kind of special teams, either a big play or a mistake, and the punt almost was blocked by Decatur Central, and then a muffed punt almost resulted in Roncalli's touchdown.
And we're going to have a 4 wideouts here as the quarterback for Decatur Central makes a nice pass on a quick stop route. Who was that out there on the outside, Alex? I couldn't make out his number. It was caught along the Decatur Central sideline, good for about 7 or 8 yards on the play.
Sure was, and I didn't catch the receiver either, but it was a very nice pass. I think that's the sophomore quarterback's first pass tonight, and a very accurate pass as he sprinted out to the right a little bit and was able to hit the receiver for a 9-yard gain. So, and all of a sudden, Decatur Central is going out of the spread.
Spread formation, running back in the backfield, shotgun for Stevens, and the handoff is made, but not enough yardage for a first down. Actually, we'll see where they mark it. I guess they will give him the first down, so a nice run there. He was hit in the backfield, but was able to scramble forward for another couple yards.
He sure was. Number 42 for Roncalli. Looks like that was Luke Otley, who's playing both offense and defense. Got right in there and made a pretty good tackle, but a nice job by the Decatur Central running back to keep his head forward and get an extra yard for a first down.
As you mentioned, we might see a little bit of sloppy play tonight, and in high school football, sloppy weather usually leads to sloppy play. Whichever team can take care of the football better will. Oh, and a nice catch there on an adjustment. A short throw from Stevens, but the catch is complete to number 25. And that is Aaron Franklin with the reception.
It was a very good catch and a very good adjustment, as you alluded to. And that quarterback, he's doing a good job of protecting the football. It's wet out there, and trying to keep a handle on the ball, kind of shot-putted it out there a little bit, which is okay. It doesn't usually lead to an arid throw if you have both hands on the ball. But very nice pitch and catch, and Decatur Central is in second and manageable right now.
Should mention that the rain seems to have subsided, at least for the time being. And a lot of pressure, and I think that might have been a designed run. But either way, it's going to be, I think they're going to call that a sack of Tommy Stevens. That was a 4-yard loss. So 3rd and long coming up from the Hawks after a nice play there by the Roncalli Rebels.
And that was certainly an example of football being a chess match where Roncalli had dialed up a full-out blitz with the linebackers, and controversially Decatur Central had dialed up a quarterback draw, and the Rebels were right there to make a good stop, and now this is where we'll see what this young quarterback can do with his arm.
A certain throwing situation for the Hawks and Tommy Stevens here. A high snap. Stevens is sprinting to his right, fires downfield. He actually had a man open and just overthrew him. Or I guess he threw it too far outside to the sideline. So Decatur now forced to punt and give the ball back to Roncalli. Still scoreless here with 9 minutes and 11 seconds left to go in the first half.
Yeah, and you can't really fault the quarterback too much for that throw. It's actually a good throw. If you're going to miss, low and outside is exactly where you do want to miss to keep it out of the defender's hands, and we'll see what their punting unit can do here.
And a nice snap, and the punt is away. It's a low line drive straight to the return man for Roncalli. He pauses, and he's got a lot of running room, trying to miss a couple defenders, and he does. A very nice return there for the Rebels. Return was made by number 24, and that is Aaron Schnell for Roncalli. Takes the ball up to just past the 50-yard line, actually, so Roncalli will take over just inside of Decatur Central territory.
Yeah, very good return. Made one guy miss, was able to find a hole in the middle of the field. And, so far this game we've seen a lot of running, a couple passes, and two pretty good punt returns.
Mentioned up here in the booth between the quarters how fast that first quarter moved by. About 19 minutes to play 12 minutes of football. So this running game by both teams certainly taking up a lot of the clock. Is another run here by Roncalli. Good for a 3-yard gain. And I believe that was 38. And that's Dylan Evans, senior running back. I've noticed a lot of seniors here for Roncalli playing tonight.
Yeah, it sure seems like it. And it is senior night, and there was a long line of football players extended across the field with their parents. So it's, for Roncalli, this would be a big win for these seniors to get out here and do it in front of their parents, despite the fact that it's a pretty cruddy weather situation.
Fans starting to fill the stadium a little more as it was really coming down here prior to kickoff and just after kickoff. The carry, and a very nice carry, as number 3, David Holtkamp, was pretty slippery runner there, as it seemed that there was a few Hawks that had an opportunity to bring him down but just couldn't quite hold on to him. So he slithers through a couple tackles and was able to pick up a first down for the Rebels.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad job by Decatur Central right there. They did keep contained, just, arm tackling kind of results to missed tackles and an eventual first down for Roncalli. So Roncalli is back into Decatur Central's territory, and we'll see what they can do here on 1st and 10.
1st and 10 Rebels at the Decatur Central 38-yard line. Play action pass, looking, and a nice sack there as they're hanging on. And Decatur Central was able to rally the troops. I couldn't see who got there first.
Looks like that was 23, a guy that we've heard about tonight. Jordan Jackson, a very highly recruited kid for Decatur Central. Plays defensive end and is very, very athletic and strong. And one of the coaches up in the press box was telling us about how much of a stud he was, and being looked at by a lot of the MAC schools. And we'll see him playing on Saturdays for sure.
2nd and long here for the Rebels. Another pass play and the pass is dropped. It was a high throw, but still number 42 for Roncalli, the fullback. Luke Otley had an opportunity to bring it in and wasn't able to. It'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and about 13 yards for Roncalli. And Alex, as you just mentioned, more pressure by the big defensive end there for the Hawks.
Yeah, it was a very good job. He gets upfield in a hurry. He's one of those pass rushers who's very quick and can beat a tackle around the outside and crash down hard on the quarterback. And he was right there. If he didn't get tapped in the back by the tackle, he probably would have gotten a sack right there. So watch for him to make some more plays tonight for sure.
Jordan Jackson, number 23. And it's another pass, and he's got a man deep. We'll see who can bring it in. And the ball is caught by number 14 for Roncalli. A huge play there on 3rd and long for the Rebels is Aaron Schnell, who we just saw deliver a nice punt return to set the Rebels up with good field position. Hauls the ball in and is finally drugged down at the 7-yard line of Decatur Central. So the first real threat of the game for Roncalli is they're going to be looking at 1st and goal from the 7 here. Looking to put the first points of the night on the board here.
Yeah, and that's exactly the throw that I was seeing in early when they were warming up was that goal line post, and the receiver did a very good job of breaking off the corner and was able to get a nice post route, and very nice throw in this wet conditions, even better catch on the run.
Yeah, the rain has picked up once again. About 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. And there was some movement before the snap, and they're going to call
Looks like delay of game.
Delay of game, actually. And that was let's see here. I'm trying to find the number. That was Cam Smock trying to make some adjustments pre-snap and actually move some guys around, but wasn't really keeping his own play clock in his head there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that a lot this year. It's kind of a football maturity thing to make sure you watch the play clock and it's pretty much right in front of you. It should be in your peripheral at all time. And as a quarterback, you really, really don't need those penalties. 5 yards backing up is not a good way to be in any situation at all.
He started to pull guys around and try to adjust before the play, and he started doing that with about 5 seconds left to go on the play clock, and that quickly ran out. So Roncalli has to move back 5 yards, and the carry here by Smock tries to turn the corner, actually gets the penalty yards back and then some. So it'll be for second and goal. I apologize. Second and goal for Roncalli on the Decatur Central 3-yard line.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good play call. It was designed sweep with the quarterback out of a shotgun. Had one of the running backs go in motion to the strong side, double tights. Very good play call right there along the goal line, and very good athletic move to get outside and break contain and be able to get to about the goal line. So very good run, and we'll see what Roncalli can do here with 2nd and 3.
Smock was pushed out of bounds, so the game clock stops. Smock in the shotgun formation here as a timeout is called, and Decatur Central calls a timeout to get their defense realigned, and Alex Roncalli fielded the ball to start this game and went 3 and out. These points are obviously important with Decatur Central looking like they're going to get maybe the last possession of the first half and get the ball back to start the second half. Decatur Central's offense, I feel like, has looked good. They've just stalled and kind of hurt themselves during the middle of their drives. We saw 2 completely different offensive formations from them on the first 2 drives. Which do you look to see more of?
Well, it really depends on if Roncalli scores right here. I think if they can stop Roncalli or at least hold him to a field goal, I'd expect them to go out there and keep running that veer option. It was very
And we're back here. Sorry, experienced a little bit of technical difficulties up here in the press box. We had a short in our surge protector, so we are actually going to have to abandon the video feed for the rest of the night. We're going to have to come to you straight audio tonight. And while you were away, Roncalli was able to put the ball in the end zone, but the conversion failed. So the Rebels now lead 6-0 as they kick it off to Decatur Central. And a lot of running room. We've actually seen some pretty good returns tonight, Alex, by both teams. This one, and a late hit there, but I don't believe it's going to be called. And Decatur Central will take over at their own 27, almost out to actually past the 30-yard line. 5.5 minutes remain here in the first half.
Yeah, it's a very good return. Had some room on the right side, a lot of speed by the runner, and a very good job. We'll try to get you the names and numbers of everyone who's doing each play and what's going on and try to walk you through it since we only have audio here.
Yep, we are a little bit of a makeshift broadcast here tonight, so bear with us. Please be patient. And a very nice run there around the left side for Decatur Central. Good for about 5 yards on the play. And he gets up gingerly as looks like he's going to walk it off. 36 with the carry there for Decatur Central. And looks like that's Eli Conlon, halfback. He's a junior halfback, 5'10", 184 pounds.
Very good job, and we've been talking about all night how important those first down runs are, and he was able to get 8 yards right there, which is far more than what you expect as a coach on first down.
So 2nd and 4 for Decatur Central. Motion here. And Stevens trips coming out from under center, but is able to complete the pass. And a great run after the catch. Alex, how about that balance shown there and that athleticism? As you said, he's listed as an athlete here on the roster. To give an idea of what happened if you're listening at home, Stevens, the new quarterback for Decatur Central, actually was tripped up coming out from under center and able to keep his balance and get it out to his running back in the flats.
Yeah, it was a very good play, and as you alluded to, his balance was very good there. Was able to pretty much throw the ball almost falling backwards as he almost tripped and was able to complete the pass. I think it was 36, once again, Eli Conlon, and a very strong run after the catch. He's pretty much wide open. And it looks like we're going to have a penalty at the end of the play, a personal foul against Roncalli, which is, well, we're waiting to see what the call is here.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to call anything. There was some rustling around after the play, but I think it was by both teams. They said they called a face mask against the Rebels, but they didn't mark off any more yardage. This time Decatur Central pitches it around the left-hand side. Number 5, Dakota Sidwell with the carry, and he's actually brought down for a 1-yard loss. A nice job there by the Rebels stretching that play out to the sideline and not really giving Sidwell a chance to turn it upfield at all.
No, a very good defensive play, but talk a little bit about Dakota Sidwell. He's the leading rusher for this Decatur Central team. He's a very sizable kid. He's only a sophomore, but he's 5'9", 185, so it's a pretty big kid for a sophomore, and they like to get him around on those sweeps, and he's a very strong runner.
2nd and long here for Decatur Central in Rebel territory. Right up the middle on the fullback dive and a nice run. Got to get a number on that one to you.
36, Eli Conlon. He's made a couple big plays this drive, and that was about a 15-yard run, almost 20-yard run. Very nice job. This kid's got great balance, puts his head down, and basically was able to roll over a couple tacklers right there. So
very nice run. Yeah, and he's a junior, so 2 big running backs coming back next year for the Hawks, and a very nice run there by Eli, giving Decatur Central a first down deeper into Roncalli territory. Ball is placed at their 28-yard line. 3.5 minutes left to go here in the first half. Play action pass. Stevens looks downfield, and it is thrown out of bounds towards the Roncalli sideline as the receivers just kind of ran out of room there along the sideline. Alex, what do you think about Stevens so far? This being his first game, has protected the football and made some plays under duress. Hasn't made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, he sure hasn't made very many mistakes, and he's done a good job protecting the ball, as you alluded to. Did have a fumbled snap on that 4th and goal from the 1-yard line, but very good job when he does throw the ball away. It's usually outside and high or low, so it's not able to be intercepted. So very good job so far.
Handoff this time right up the middle around the right-hand side. Another nice gain for Decatur Central as their offense is really clicking this drive.
And that was another junior, number 22, Cameron Evans. And at first contact, he met that linebacker, and he lowered his head and shoulder very strongly and was able to run over the linebacker. And, one thing Decatur Central, other than the one drive where they did punt the ball, they've been able to keep these third downs manageable within 5 or 4 yards. So, able to run the spread or the option if they want to here.
3rd and 4 from the Roncalli 22-yard line. The handoff is made, dragging a tackler there.
Again, that was 22, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. That was 22, Cameron Evans again on the carry. Good for a Decatur Central first down. Under 3 minutes left to go in the half. And, Alex, this would be huge if Decatur Central could put some points on the board, especially getting the ball back the second half and taking some momentum into halftime on the road here. Always tough to play here at Roncalli.
Sure is, yeah, absolutely. And, fortunately, we have turf on the ground here instead of grass, or else this would be a really bad mud fest.
The handoff is made, and a broken tackle, running hard up the middle. Good for a 9-yard gain. So Decatur actually still has a chance to get a first down. It'll be 2nd and 1 yard to go for Decatur Central. Ball is placed at the Roncalli 5, and they're going to be able to kind of use up some clock here, even I believe if they want to.
Yeah, they sure can. Once again, the ball carrier there was Eli Conlon, so we're getting a large dose of Eli Conlon and Cameron Evans on this drive, and both running backs have been very impressive here and have really controlled the ball and have been able to run over some Roncalli Rebels.
And a sprint out here for Stevens, looking for room. He throws it up into the end zone.
And it's intercepted.
And that's another play like we spoke of earlier where he's running out of room on the sideline, can easily throw it away and live to fight another day.
Absolutely.
Or another down in this case. And
especially since it was only second down there. It wasn't any kind of a panic situation.
Unnecessary.
And yeah, young quarterback just kind of tried to throw it up and see if his receiver was athletic enough to get up and get it. And unfortunately, it's their second turnover in the red zone, and that's going to kill you.
But are you surprised that the coaching staff even runs that play as they march the ball down the field on the ground? You're 2nd and 1 at the 5-yard line, get the first down, and I guess I'm just surprised that with a new quarterback you're going to sprint him out in that situation when you have a very nice chance to take the lead here going into halftime at Roncalli.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those situations where if it goes right, the coaches look like geniuses. If it doesn't go well, then we kind of talk about it up here just like that. I agree with you. Should have kept running the ball.
Yeah, obviously, but what do you have a better chance of happening there in that situation? They haven't really thrown the ball with all that much success tonight, regardless.
And as Roncalli comes out to take the ball, the first play, they did, in fact, false start. So they'll be starting 1st and 15 from their own 15-yard line with 1:51 to go. It's 6-0 Roncalli Rebels, but the Roncalli Rebels do, in fact, have the football.
It'll be first down Roncalli from their own 15-yard line. Motion man here for Roncalli as the pitch is made around the left-hand side, looking for running room. And not able to get much on the play as it gets pushed out of bounds. No, actually, the clock is going to continue to run here. So we're down about 1.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Assuming that the clock runs out and there's no further scoring here, Alex, what do you see here in the second half?
Well, I think both of these teams have had a lot of success on defense. Obviously, Roncalli was able to score. Decatur Central's defense has played very well tonight. They're really containing this pitch that Roncalli's doing, and the most effective time that Roncalli can run that sweep is when they're in manageable downs, 2nd and 3rd down within 5 yards. And so far they've been able to bounce the ball outside and make it preventable from being a long play.
Pass play here for the Rebels as he overthrows his receiver. I believe that was intended for his tight end, number 85, and the ball was overthrown. That was Joe Schott, the intended receiver. Clock will stop with 57 seconds left to go in the half.
Yeah, and this is time for Decatur Central to watch the clock here. If they get a stop here, call a timeout, and they get the ball back with about 55 or 50 seconds to go. They can still get a score here. It's not completely over in this half yet, and all it takes is one stop. And as we alluded to earlier, it's definitely possible for there to be a special teams play. We've already seen 2 really good punt returns and a couple good kickoff returns. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could get the ball in Roncalli's territory.
3rd and long here for Roncalli. And the pitch is made to the right-hand side, and a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. The runner on the play there was number 38, Dylan Evans, and I imagine we're going to see a timeout here from the Hawks.
And that's exactly what we got. Roncalli's going to be faced with a 4th and about 12 or 13.
They're going to have to punt it away, and with the way the pressure has been on the punts, I could see the Hawks just going for an all-out blitz here, trying to make something happen. But then again, they got a nice return early on, so it'll be interesting to me to see what the coach decides here. The coach for the Hawks is Justin Dixon.
I absolutely agree with you. It's decision time for these Decatur Central Hawks to get out here. And, there was a good return earlier, but there was also a muffed punt that almost led to a Roncalli touchdown. So, it can go either way. Special teams are so important in high school football, and that's where most of the mistakes are made within high school football. So, being able to control the ball, if they can get a block down here on when Roncalli's punting from their own, looks like 18 or 19-yard line, there's definitely a possibility for a touchdown.
Also might note that the last couple punts made by the Rebels, high snaps on both of them. And the rain seems to be coming down about as hard as it has so far tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately. And
a lot of umbrellas out there.
Unfortunately, in high school football, you run out of dry balls and you run out of towels as well. So, the ball's going to get more slick and keep continuing to get wet. And, I expect them to run the same kind of rugby-style punt here and let the ball roll down a little bit. But we'll see what they do.
And Decatur sets up for a return, and they're going to get one as the ball bounces and fielded. And actually, a nice play there, albeit a dangerous play, but didn't give up any more yardage, was able to just grab the ball and get down. So 44 seconds remain. Decatur Central, I think, wants to be a little careful here not to push it too much with this young quarterback. First game has already had a couple turnovers on the fumbled snap, and then both those turnovers inside the 5-yard line. That's a tough start, but thinking about it, I mean, when you've had those kind of plays and you're still only down 6-0 on the road at Roncalli.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. With this sophomore quarterback, don't push it too hard. You get the ball back as soon as the second half starts, so there's not a lot of loss if you don't score here.
We'll see what they do. They called the timeout, so they want to try something. Sprints out right. Stevens airs it out,
Good
and
throw.
He's got a man open, and the ball is caught. Very nice throw and catch there, and a nice job by Tommy Stevens to redeem himself after that interception. The ball is brought all the way down to the Roncalli 30-yard line. The catch was made on the play by number 5 for the Hawks. That was Dakota Sidwell, which we've mentioned a lot. He's listed as a tailback. I didn't see if he came out of the backfield or out of the slot on that play.
He did, and I love that play call right there. It's kind of a circle route with the running back to the near side of the field or the left side of the field. And indications show that there is, in fact, a legal man downfield is the call. That's very unfortunate because that was a great throw. The quarterback rolled out to his right side and threw back to his left on a circle route with the running back, but it looks like the lineman released too quickly and legal man downfield. It's a tough penalty right there. And now if you're Decatur Central being backed up, it looks like 5 yards, having a first and 15 with only 36 seconds left. Now it's time, I would almost say, to maybe take a knee or just try to run the ball.
We'll see what they come out and do and what Coach Dixon decides. Very tempting to throw again after the success they had on that first play, but they're going to go ahead and run the ball. And a very nice run once again by Decatur Central into Roncalli territory. And the clock continues to tick, so maybe they're going to be... No, they're going to line up quickly and run another play. Stevens trying to get everyone lined up. He's under center here. 11 seconds left to go in the half. 5-step drop. Looks deep. He had a man, but the receiver stopped. And he had him open there for a minute. The receiver cut off his route and just stopped running. And 4 seconds left. I imagine we'll just see them run the ball and get out of this first half with only trailing by 6 points.
Yeah, that was a very good throw. Actually, the receiver was open. It was just a little bit late and too high. Cover 2 was a shell that the secondary on Roncalli was running, and there was a nice little fade route. If he threw the ball more of a line towards the receiver, he would have had him. And it looks like Decatur is going to try to maybe run a Hail Mary here.
And a high snap. Stevens trying to get away from it, and that's why you don't push it too far. At the end, that could have easily been a 2-score game, but Decatur Central actually escapes a couple near misses, especially with the botched punt return early on that could have been a Roncalli touchdown, and they'll go into the half trailing here at Roncalli. 6-0 Rebels. We'll be back with the second half and more action here from the south side of Indianapolis. This is AudioSportsOnline.com. We're back here for the second half of football from Roncalli High School. Halftime, me and Alex were able to finally figure out how to get the video feed back, so we're sorry about that second quarter mishap as our power went out up here in the press box, but we'll have all the second half action brought to you real soon. The Decatur Central Hawks are actually going to receive to start the second half, and Alex, we talked at halftime about having 2 turnovers inside the 5-yard line and shooting yourself in the foot. You got to think that Coach Dixon really preached at halftime, limiting mistakes and ball control and finishing drives. And do you expect to see, Bruce Cypress has long been known as one of the better high school football coaches in the state, and halftime adjustments are going to be super important. What are you looking for here from both sides?
Well, I think that Decatur Central was certainly able to move the ball, especially on the running game, and as you alluded to, you got to take care of the football. Errant mistakes are going to kill you in all aspects of the game, and against a good team like Roncalli, that'll wind down and wear you out if you keep making those mistakes.
And the kicker fell down there on the kickoff, and the ball is
actually kicked out of bounds. It should be a legal procedure.
I thought he hurt himself there. Number 22 for Roncalli, the kicker on the play, Kyle Kedra, slipped right before making the kick. Ball dribbled out of bounds along the Roncalli sideline, so the Hawks will take over at their own 35 as the rain really starts pouring now, and fans, the loyal fans anyways, are still in their seats. Umbrellas are plentiful here.
It's kind of funny because some of these umbrellas down here got to be the size of a Volkswagen Bug. I mean, these umbrellas, they're covering a whole family.
Fit a family of 4 underneath.
It's like
them.
a pop-up tent in the middle of the stands.
So the first play of the second half will be made by Decatur Central. The handoff and another tough run. Good for 8 yards and a nice way to start the half, Alex. And we talked at halftime about the strong running there by Decatur Central, particularly on that second-to-last drive where they threw an interception in the end zone. They were able to march the ball down the field very effectively against this Roncalli defense, and me and you both said that we expected to see a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Between number 22, Cameron Evans, and number 36, Eli Conlon, they were able to have a really effective running game, and they need to keep doing this against this Roncalli front 5.
And it doesn't. Oh, fumbled snap as Stevens tries to make something out of it. Actually, he's going to lose a few yards on the play. And that'll be a loss of about 2. And also mentioning Dakota Sidwell, the sophomore tailback, he's gotten in on the action and caught a nice long pass there at the end of the half that was actually called back. We'll see where they spot this. Not as much of a loss as I originally anticipated, maybe a yard or 2. It'll be 3rd and 4. Actually, maybe about 3rd and 3 here for the Hawks. So a big third down to start the second half. Decatur Central desperately needs to get some points on the board and right the ship and get this thing moving in the right direction here. And a nice defensive play there by the front line of Roncalli. I believe number 5 got back there right away. And that was Mason Nickel, the linebacker.
Yeah, it's a very good play right there by Roncalli, and more importantly, forced a 3-and-out against Decatur Central, who, for the most part in the first half was able to move the ball down and convert those third downs.
And a high snap is taken, and it's a
fake.
He's got a man open, and
they
the
convert
pass
it.
is complete, Alex, and a very risky call in the rain, but it pays off here for Decatur Central. And as you said earlier, now that's a play, if it doesn't work out, everyone's screaming because the chances of that in this weather, and that was still very close there as the Roncalli defender.
Well, Decatur Central basically just dropped the quarterback back into the punt position, and essentially it just wound up being an extended shotgun, like a 15-yard or 10-yard shotgun snap, and very nice throw to the sidelines, had a man wide open.
So the fake punt works to open the second half for Decatur Central. This time a dive to the right-hand side, good for a 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 7 Decatur Central as the ball moves into Roncalli territory.
And early in the second half, you can tell what kind of adjustments Roncalli has made on defense as they're taking an extra linebacker and overloading both A-gaps on each side of the center because that's where they like to run that initial veer dive from the option on the Decatur Central side.
And motion here again. The pitch is made, and a nice run as that's Sidwell lowering his shoulder and absorbing contact. Gets another couple yards. It'll be 3rd and 5 here for the Hawks, and I expect to see them. They're going to extend their version of 4-down territory here.
I absolutely think so. Especially after going for a fake punt on that last 4th down. I do appreciate Decatur Central when they run that sweep. It's very much north-south. The running back doesn't run east-west, try to bounce it out. He just takes what he can get, and he was able to get a couple yards there. But nice tackle by Roncalli, and it's 3rd and 4.
3rd and a long 4 here. And the handoff is made, running strong, but a nice gang tackle there by Roncalli as he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. One of the guys leading the charge was number 24, Aaron Schnell. And we've seen him on offense, defense, and he returned a punt. So a couple of these Roncalli guys getting a lot of playing time on both sides of the ball. And no easy task at any level of football. Have to be in great condition to get that done.
Yeah, and they're certainly known for that a little bit. Jason Warner played safety, and he also played tailback. And
Pat Kuntz in his day.
Absolutely. They have a long line of studs who've done both ways on both sides. So
4th and 2, pitch is made. Trying to turn the corner is Sidwell. A nice strong run there by Sidwell, number 5, the sophomore tailback. And Dakota gets about 4 yards and a Decatur Central 1st down. So as we saw in the first half, Decatur Central putting a drive together, converting 2 4th down tries so far this half, and we'll see if they can finish one out here.
And they need one. So far this game, they're 3 out of 4 on 4th downs, and it's a big thing for momentum to be able to convert that 4th down. And it's 4 whole plays to get 10 yards. It doesn't sound like it should be that hard, but they're doing a good job so far.
And a misdirection run there as the pitch was faked and handed back off. 2-yard gain on the play for Decatur Central. It'll be 2nd and 8. Should mention that Decatur Central actually beat Martinsville earlier this year. And Martinsville, of course, the team that took down Roncalli last week. They also share 2 more common opponents, Plainfield and Franklin Central. Roncalli won both of those. And Decatur Central actually lost both to Plainfield and Franklin Central. And a fumbled snap again, the 3rd one we've seen this game. And a loss of a yard, so it'll be 3rd and long, Hawks. And Alex, that ball getting slippery, the quarterback, and you played quarterback in high school. Is that a situation where you have to just leave yourself under there a half second longer to make sure you secure that snap?
Yeah, and it goes both ways. The center's got to make sure he keeps his hand on the ball, and it's really tough when you got someone right on your face, like hitting you in the mouth, but you really got to keep your hand up there and make sure the quarterback can get the ball. It's, the number one thing between the center and the quarterback is securing that ball.
This option play, the pitch is made, but an ill-advised pitch probably there as he never really made the defensive end commit and just kind of gave his ball to the running back in no man's land, and that's going to be a loss of about 5 yards on the play. So Decatur Central will be forced to punt, and I don't think we're going to see a fake this time out of the Hawks.
Certainly not. And Stevens right there, didn't really do a good job on the pitch. He didn't pitch it strong. He didn't lead the running back. The running back did a good job of maintaining his space between that he needed. But
nice punt there as it's a good kick that bounces and goes out of bounds. So no chance at a return there for Roncalli. And
Roncalli has done a good job on defense. Decatur Central has gotten into their territory with effective drives, and as we always allude to, being able to bend a little bit but not completely break and let them in the end zone is a very big thing and really helps your team out. And being up 6-0, possession is a huge thing here in the first half or the second half. So I can understand why Decatur Central punted that ball away.
Yeah, Roncalli's done a nice job when they've had their backs against the goal line, but they've also been helped out a couple times by some miscues from Decatur Central. Now the Rebels take over at their own 13, and the pitch is made, no room to run, and a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a tackle for loss. it getting harder with the rain to make out the numbers on the Decatur Central uniforms from up here.
And it looks like that was actually number 4, Jack Weldon.
Okay, he's the will linebacker.
Yeah.
And, Decatur Central's uniforms, the white, gold helmets, gold numbers, and that gold on white combination in this weather's getting harder to read as the night has moved along. Roncalli in their home red with blue pants, silver helmets. And it'll be 2nd and 12 Rebels as they lost 2 yards on that first run. And Smock throws, and it is complete to number 17 on the play. The receiver, Mike Madden, the tight end, 6'4", 202-pound senior, was able to make the catch. And a nice throw and catch there by Roncalli as Cam Smock completes the pass.
And one of the biggest reasons why that play was able to happen is because Roncalli bangs away at you with that power sweep to each side and just sets up a perfect opportunity for play action on 2nd down, and that's exactly what they did. Quarterback was able to roll out and hit his second level flood with the tight end, so very nice play there.
Roncalli has a tendency to lull you to sleep with this sweep play and then hit you with a big play action as they're not able to get the first down on this carry. It'll be 4th and short. Roncalli's deep in their own territory still. And it doesn't look like they've decided yet whether or not to punt the ball. They're going to go ahead and do it and rely on their defense, and I think that's a good call this stage in the game, Alex.
Certainly being up 6-0, going for it on fourth and 6 inches, even if you're on your own territory, is sometimes not a good call. And right here, if you're Decatur Central, this is all-out blitz time. Try to block this punt and make a play here.
Yeah, their returner is standing at their own 40. They may set up for a nice little return. And a good kick, but a line drive. It's fieldable. And a nice return. No, he's brought down. I thought a tackle was about to be broken, but a good coverage downfield by the Rebels. And Decatur Central will take over at their own 45-yard line. So another relatively short field ahead of them if they are able to sustain a drive.
Yeah, and it's hard to say, at this point in the game, what team has played better. We've seen good things from both teams. Obviously, Roncalli was able to actually finish out a drive and score, so the edge is to them on that. As far as defense, I would honestly say that Decatur Central has had a better defensive game and, honestly, even a better offensive game as well. They've been able to run the ball. Just 2 small and simple mistakes inside the 5-yard line has really cost you a potential 14 points.
And a 5-step drop. The throw is made and dropped by Sidwell. Or no, I apologize. I thought that was number 5. Up here in the press box, they're saying it was number 15, Aaron Sandy, the junior wide receiver.
Yeah, and he had a man on the outside. It was a pretty good throw. Just the receiver lost focus and concentration and just dropped the ball. Should have been caught, even though it would only been about a 4-yard gain. But, like we alluded to earlier, those first down plays are so important to set up yourself in a 2nd and manageable and 3rd and manageable eventually.
And the handoff now for Decatur Central. Another tough run up the middle, gets 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 7. And as you said, it feels from up here in the press box like Decatur Central maybe has executed better, maybe played a better game for lack of a better word. But, what does that go to say about turnovers? While they may have executed better in certain aspects of the game, Roncalli has played a much cleaner game, and that's why they're sitting here with the lead.
That's exactly right, yeah. Doesn't matter how well you execute, the scoreboard still says 6-0 in favor of Roncalli. So,
yeah.
It's all about finishing drives and taking care of the football. And when we talked about that at the beginning of the game, Decatur Central's been able to control the line of scrimmage. They're just not able to finish drives and score.
Penalty before the snap, and it's a false start, so they'll move back 5 yards. Yeah, it's not like fantasy football where you get points for yardage. You get points for touchdowns, and no matter how many yards you rack up or how many drives you put together, if you don't put it in the end zone, you're not going to win the game.
That's exactly right, and this has been a tough game on both sides. It's hard to control the ball, and it's hard to take care of the ball when it's raining this hard, and in cold conditions when your fingers start to lock up a little bit. You got to keep yourself warm, and it's hard to even prepare for that kind of weather condition. We haven't even had a weather temperature this cold since football started. So,
We're going to see 4 wide receivers. I'm sorry, here for Decatur Central.
Oh, no.
And this pass is intercepted, and it's getting run back here by Roncalli. A lot of room to run down the sideline. Nice blocking by the defense. And
scores.
Nice
Touchdown.
little tiptoe job by Brant Goss down the sideline, the defensive back, 5'10", 165-pound junior. And I want to point out on the play, a great job by him keeping his balance after the interception and turning into an offensive player, but a even better job, in my opinion, of the rest of the defense getting downfield and blocking for him.
Absolutely. As we just talked about, turnovers are going to kill you in high school football, and, for the most part, that was probably the best gift that kid's gotten all year. And that ball was thrown right to his chest. All he had to do was secure the ball and take off running, and he was able to get a touchdown there. So huge momentum swing, takes it to 12-0 with an upcoming extra point. It looks like they are going to go for 2 here to try to make it 14-0.
At any level in football, turnover's so important. It's not like basketball where it's such a fast-paced game. You turn the ball over once, you're able to get it back. With football, a turnover, especially in the variety of turnovers we've seen by Decatur Central, out of the 3, we've seen 2 inside the 5-yard line, and the other one is returned for a touchdown. Those are huge swings.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd almost consider that a 21-point swing automatically, because you got to think with 1st and goal from the 1 or 5-yard line. It's in high school football. It's pretty likely you're going to get into the end zone, and like you said, to throw a pick 6 when you're down 6-0, that's the one thing we talked about. You have to control the ball and you have to take care of it. And it's not been a very warm welcome for this new quarterback coming in here for Decatur Central. This Roncalli defense has been able to force a few turnovers, so credit Roncalli for that. But it's tough luck to go in here and start your very first game as a sophomore quarterback when it's pouring down rain and 40 degrees.
Yeah, on the road at Roncalli. And, he has credit him. He has done a nice job with the option throughout the night. He had the one pitch earlier that we thought was a little ill-advised, but that's going to happen. I thought he's done a nice job running the ball, and for the most part, his decision-making, just making a couple poor decisions throwing the ball, but that'll come with experience. And we're going to see Smock work out of the shotgun here for the Rebels. He sprints out to his right and throws to the back of the end zone. It's caught. So the 2-point conversion is good for the Rebels. They'll take a 14-0 lead with 2 minutes left to go in the first half. And a flag has been thrown up here in the press box. We heard false start. We'll see what the call is on the field. And it'll be an illegal procedure, so we're going to call back that 2-point conversion, and Roncalli may just elect to kick the extra point here.
Yeah, they'll probably still try to go for it just because of where they're at and in the score. It's 12-0.
Yeah, they are going to go for it from their 7.
Kind of opens up your playbook a little bit. You don't have that 12th defender as the in line in the end zone, but we'll see what kind of play call they do here. I would expect them to throw the ball for sure.
We haven't seen Roncalli get many 7-yard gains at all tonight. Shotgun, another sprint out to his right, wide open in the end zone is David Holdcamp. So they move back 5 yards, but it doesn't stop them from completing the 2-point conversion for the second time. So now it will be a 14-0 lead, and there is no flags on the field. 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Roncalli Rebels lead Decatur Central. And this third quarter has moved just about as fast as the first quarter did, minus this score, where the clock will stop here for a couple minutes as special teams get ready to take the field. And Alex, getting behind 2 scores, fourth quarter is looming. Obviously, you've had success on the ground, but eventually you're going to have to start throwing the ball more. And as we've been kind of harping on a little bit tonight, the young quarterback, that's another thing where you don't want to press it too much and turn the ball over. That offense quickly turned into offense for the other team on this last series.
Yeah, it sure did. And, they have to make a move here. It's still the third quarter. There's still time left. You're only down 2 scores.
They still have time on this drive.
And they've been able to move the ball down, and they've gotten into the red zone, I think, 3 times tonight, or maybe twice. But, the game's not over. You can't hang your head too low and keep your head up and get out there and just get a good drive together and get in the end zone, and it's right there. It's a ball game.
And the kick is made. It's going to go out of bounds again, I believe. I'm unable to see from up here.
Yeah, and that's did in fact go out of bounds. It's 2 kicks in a row by Roncalli that have gone out of bounds, and that's the last thing as a coach you want to see, because it automatically gives the Decatur Central ball on 35-yard line, so somewhat of a shorter field than what it would be otherwise.
Well, and on the first one, Kedra appeared to slip as he kicked it, but this time his footing looked great, but was still kicked it almost the same exact kick as last time. The rain has stopped for the time being here, or at least slowed down considerably, so it's just kind of been off and on all night. First play from scrimmage, Decatur Central runs a dive, and that is stacked up, and about 8 of the 11 Roncalli defenders in on the tackle. There's no sense calling a number there. Just pick one out of a hat, as they were all piled up behind the line of scrimmage, and they're going to give him forward progress just back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues with the veer option, is that you can make adjustments to it, and although it is assignment football, it's still very, very much predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen each time, and Decatur Central has done a good job tonight of mixing up how they run that option. They do a lot of misdirections, and being 2nd and 10, they're lined up in a shotgun and feel like they're going to have to throw here.
4 wide receivers here in this shotgun formation. It's going to be a sprint option to the right, and Stevens wasn't able to do much, actually lost a couple yards, so it's going to be 3rd and long for Decatur Central. And Alex, that's exactly what you don't want to get into this stage in the ball game.
Absolutely, and that was a very good play by Roncalli right there. The defensive end crashed hard on the quarterback, and we talked about it early. It's decision making. This young sophomore quarterback, that's a ball that has to be pitched. Give your running back an opportunity to try to take it to the outside and see what happens. So
he didn't make the outside defender commit either way there again.
Yeah, and I understand you got to try to control the football and not turn it over, but either fake a pitch and keep it yourself, or pitch it out there and let your running back go to work.
A nice pass play. The ball is caught right at the sticks. They may have to measure this. Going back to that option, Alex, you can't halfway run an option.
Exactly.
You have to make the man commit. I know, like you said, you want to protect the football, but if they're going to call the option play, you got to run it as best you can and as 100% as you can.
Absolutely, and on defense against the option, it's assignment football. You're designated to defend one person on the option, and as the quarterback and as the offense running the option, the same way, you have to make that guy commit to you, because you expect one person to blow coverage for that to be a successful play.
Now it's a 1st down for Decatur Central, and a nice run here will net the Hawks about 5 or 6 yards on the play. And Alex, how many times tonight have we seen Decatur Central extend the drive when it seemed like their back was against the wall, a 4th and long on the fake punt, and just there, 3rd and long, kind of staring down the barrel of the gun, so to speak, and able to just get enough to move the sticks. So,
absolutely, yeah. Decatur Central, like we have alluded to earlier, they've executed very well on long 3rd downs, 4th downs, and right here they're having to. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the end of the 3rd quarter.
That's fine. End of the 3rd quarter, Roncalli leads 14-0 as we'll switch into the field. And please continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they're doing a good job executing, but as we alluded to earlier, it's the end score is what really matters, and the 3 turnovers by Decatur Central have just really they've shot themselves in the foot. This could easily be a 21-14 game, or without the interception for a touchdown, could have been 21-6 if they would have finished their drive. So, it's been a very, very unfortunate game for Decatur Central, but they are driving. They're in Roncalli's territory, and it's 2nd down and 4. So if they can finish this drive, they're definitely back in this game.
Yeah, it could make for an interesting end to this ball game if Decatur Central is able to put some points on the board. Doesn't feel like a shutout game so far at all.
Doesn't.
But
yeah, Decatur Central's had the ball in Roncalli's territory 6 times tonight,
and we don't have the numbers, but I'd like to see time of possession as well.
Yeah,
I feel like
been
Decatur
very
Central's,
controlled by Decatur Central. Absolutely.
I feel like they've controlled the clock and moved the ball, and to see that goose egg on the board under the guest, that's just kind of baffling from up here in the press box.
Yeah, this Decatur Central team it's a very strong team. The line does a very good job of opening up holes for these tough runners, and It just doesn't feel like the score should be how it is.
All right. Play action pass. Stevens throws long. He's got a man open, but nice position there by the defensive back for Roncalli, number 20, Daniel Ferry, as he was able to get his head around, and really nice job there by the defensive back.
Yeah, it sure was. A very good job. They tried that play earlier, and it actually worked. There was, in fact, a illegal man downfield where the quarterback sprinted out to the right a little bit. The only issue is the quarterback did not sell the rollout to the right long enough for the receiver to get open. And I like the play call there, going for a quick shot as soon as the fourth quarter starts. But very good job defensively by Roncalli to bat that ball down and prevent a big score, or big play.
3rd and 4, motion man here for Decatur Central. The handoff is made up the middle, fighting forward to try to get the first down, but forward progress will leave him about a yard short as he's pushed back. A nice job there by number 47 for the Rebels, and that is Tyler Mullen, the linebacker, also a senior. I believe every linebacker for Roncalli is a senior that I've announced, at least tonight.
I feel like the whole team on Roncalli are seniors.
Yeah, I haven't really mentioned.
Or at least the starters for sure. But that was, I got to commend Decatur Central's running backs, namely Eli Conlon and Cameron Evans, as well as Dakota Sidwell. They're really running hard, and this is a very good group. None of them are seniors, so expect a lot in the future.
Another 4th down here, and it is stuffed. A very nice job on the tackle there. I believe, again, that's number 47, Tyler Mullen, behind the line of scrimmage. And Decatur Central has been able to convert a few 4th downs tonight, but Roncalli denies them there, and you get a feeling from up here in the press box that could have really taken the wind out of the sails of the Hawks.
And the running back. It's a very big hit, and the helmet was right on his chest. Great play there by the senior. It was a very good job, and Roncalli gets the ball back, and I think they can do some serious damage in this fourth quarter if they can get a score here.
So Roncalli will take over at their own 48-yard line, looking for them to run the ball a lot here on this drive. First carry nets them about 3 yards into Decatur Central territory. And Alex, obviously, I think we're going to see Roncalli try best they can to control the clock here. I'm sure they'd like to make this a 50-yard, 5-6 minute drive capped off by a touchdown.
Absolutely, and Roncalli is definitely good at controlling the clock. They like to run the ball, and when they do throw the ball, the quarterback makes good decisions, and you don't hardly ever see Roncalli turn the ball over. Even when we played them back in the day, they control the clock, and when you felt like you were in the game and had a serious chance, they would just make a big play to knock the wind out of your sails completely.
And look at Smock out there blocking in front. Roncalli, much known on that power sweep to lead with the quarterback and the fullback, and you can't play quarterback for Roncalli and not be tough out there, because you're going to have to be sprinting out and making some hits on some linebackers from time to time.
Absolutely not, and the big thing to stop this Roncalli offense is to really get your gaps and crash hard on the sweep. And the problem with that is sometimes it's easy to break contain. If you're flowing to the ball too hard, it's easy for that cutback, and the next thing you'll see a running back for Roncalli running down the field for a touchdown.
Trips here to the left as the sprint out, the pass is made, and it's going to be good for about a 7-yard gain around the left side to that was David Holtkamp. He's been involved both in the passing and rushing game tonight for Roncalli. Very versatile player out of the backfield, David Holtkamp is.
He sure has, and you kind of feel like in high school football there's always that one player who is kind of a hybrid between a receiver and a running back who just makes a lot of the big plays and has a lot of speed and athleticism, and he is certainly that for Roncalli. He's been in a lot of plays and has made a lot of good plays tonight.
I usually see those guys try to get a lot of touches in the open field. This time the pitch is made, and I believe that was number 7 on the carry. That was Terry Ray. At least I thought so from up here. Could be wrong. That might have been number... I wasn't able to see. I think he had already checked out of the ball game.
You're kind of starting to have a sense that Decatur Central's morale has kind of been diminished a little bit. They started the second half high, and they expected themselves to come out here and be able to score in the second half, and so far Roncalli has shut them down in that manner. So, Roncalli, this could be a very heartbreaking touchdown for Decatur Central if Roncalli can get down there and score.
Another handoff this time to Holtkamp. Good for about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and short, Rebels, with a 14-0 lead as the clock now ticks down to about 8 minutes left to go in the game. Some scores around the state. Another Catholic school action. Chittard beats Guerin Catholic 34-7 tonight. And in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference final, Brownsburg beats Zionsville 14-0. So I believe Brownsburg clinches the Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship with that win at home tonight against Zionsville.
Very impressive team Brownsburg is. They like to run the ball very hard. Have a couple guys going D1. Chase Dutra, namely, is their stud athlete who, much like Holtkamp, is able to get out there and make big plays. And, I really think that Brownsburg has an opportunity to make a run at that 5A state championship this year. And as a late flag comes out here, looks like we're going to have a personal foul against Roncalli.
Trying to find you some scores here. Another conference action. Looking for the Greenwood score tonight, as they're the only team in the conference that's undefeated. And we do have a score up here now. Greenwood 41-14 over Franklin. And the Greenwood Woodmen will move to 8-0. So looks like they have clinched their conference championship as well. So a lot of conferences getting clinched tonight as we look to move forward in the next couple weeks to playoff action. And everyone, that's always an exciting time around the state, around the city of Indianapolis, and the games get a little more amped up.
It's amped up, and it's a very long playoff process. It's almost like another mini season for these guys. Everyone's into playoffs. There's no limitations on who's allowed in. It's not based on record, and
it's going to take 6 games to win the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's all or nothing. Lose, you go home. Win, you keep going.
Another pitch play here, good for a 2-yard gain for the Rebels as they continue to milk this clock.
And one thing I did want to say, we've had pretty inclement weather tonight, lots of rain, pretty chilly. One of the defeats that Decatur Central had was against Perry Meridian, and one thing I saw is that Perry Meridian's record is 1-3-3. They've only played 4 games this year, won one of them against Decatur Central, and 3 of the games were 0-0, canceled because of weather.
Now, I'm surprised they didn't get those played on Saturday. That's what most teams usually do. We'll move them to Saturday afternoon. I'd like to find out why that is.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times it's based on the refs and whether they're able to play. As Roncalli with a big play on, I think that was 2nd down, long post again, the same exact post that they ran earlier that was open. And
it was to Dominic Hinn over the middle. Yeah, like you said, same route. And he's limping off the field right now, so we'll see if he returns.
Looks like he's just coming over to get the play call, shaking his leg off a little bit. And it's, once again, in this cold weather, when you get hit, it stings. It's not just normal football where just get tackled and fall down. You get a helmet to the leg or arm, it stings. Even hitting your hand on someone's face mask, it hurts. These kids are certainly tough.
6.5 minutes left to go in the game. And Smock with the reverse handoff here. And Holtkamp, another way of getting him the ball. We've seen him get the ball a lot of ways tonight for Roncalli as a late flag comes down. Could be a holding call. As you can hear, the coaches on the field disagree with the refs. And I think they will call holding, and they're going to mark it off from the spot. So that'll be a 10-yard penalty against Roncalli. Halfway through this 4th quarter, the Rebels still lead 14-0. And looking forward to the playoffs, Alex, who do you think are some of the front runners in 4A to win the title?
Well, last year it was mostly the private schools who dominated the state championships. I think Carmel was the only school that actually won a state championship that's not private, and they won the 5A championship against a very good Warren Central team last year.
Well, I think that'll continue to happen. I don't think there's a private Catholic school that is 5A.
Certainly, yeah. But eventually there will be with this new classification of schools. I think they're going to open up a 6A for the big schools, and as you continue to dominate your class in whatever division you're in, you will move up with success. So I do like that a lot. I think it's great.
Smock throws it up in the air, and really not a smart play there by the quarterback as you're nursing a 14-0 lead, just trying to get out of the game. And there's really no reason to turn the ball over if you don't have to here.
Certainly not. And, with trying to run the clock down a little bit, it's one of those things, just slide down and let the clock go. And, you're in their territory, so it's 4-down territory, or you're going to try to get a field goal. But they are now faced with a 2nd and 23 yards to go. So they still have some work to do.
Roncalli coming to the line of scrimmage. Smock will be under center. I imagine we'll continue to see them run the ball. And the handoff is made, and a nice tackle broken, 2 tackles broken, and finally Decatur Central is able to bring down number 38, Dylan Evans. He was almost brought down behind the line of scrimmage, but spun out of a tackle and broke another, and was able to get a little bit of yardage on that play, about 4 yards. And it's still going to be 3rd and 19 for the Rebels.
And I absolutely agree with you. This is a situation where you certainly hold the football and don't let anything bad happen. The last thing you want is an interception that turns into a touchdown for the other team. Control the ball, take care of the ball, protect it, and I think at this point maybe try a field goal here.
And the play blows dead again as Decatur Central is going to take a timeout with 4:50 remaining in the game, and going back to the future, playoff system we're going to have. As Alex said, we're going to have 6A down all the way down to 1A. You're going to be eligible to move up. I think every 2 years they're going to have a point system. You're going to get a certain amount of points for a sectional championship, a certain amount for regional, semi-state, state, and as those points continue to build over the course of a 2-year period, if you have a certain amount, you're going to move up, and there's going to really be no limit. I think a lot of people are very interested to see how high some of these Catholic schools can rise. A team like Lafayette Central Catholic, who's just going to dominate 1A, I think it's interesting to a lot of people to see how far of a climb they can make.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think for a long time, a lot of people have wanted to see Roncalli and Cathedral get up into the 5A and play those teams like Warren Central, Ben Davis, Avon, Brownsburg, just to see how they fare up there. And, they've pretty much in the last 10 years have dominated 4A. I think they've won the state championship almost every single year between the two. As we're going to see a pass here.
Smock takes off around the right-hand side, and he's going to run in for a touchdown. So a late touchdown added for Roncalli as Smock takes off and breaks the containment of Decatur Central, and Roncalli goes up 3 scores.
And that is just not what you want to see if you're Decatur Central. They had him in 3rd and 19, and the quarterback's able to scramble for 23 yards and a touchdown. So all of a sudden you're down three touchdowns with 4:41 to go.
We're going to see how the sophomore quarterback Tommy Stevens fares in some forced passing situations here at the end of the game. They're going to turn him loose. Extra point is up, and it is good. So Roncalli leads 21-0 with 4:41 remaining in the game. And as we were talking about seeing how they fare, seeing how some of the Catholic schools like Cathedral and Roncalli fare against better competition, Cathedral's actually already shown us the last few years they played Ben Davis. This year particularly, they played Ben Davis, Warren Central, Carmel, teams from out of state, some of the big schools from Cincinnati, Trinity down in Louisville. And they fared pretty well against them. Lost the season opener at Ben Davis by a small margin, but was actually able to beat Warren.
Yeah, it's very competitive up there, and I think the playoffs is a whole different beast. It's all about fatigue and how conditioned your team is to go into playoffs in that long stretch when the weather is more than not pretty bad. And to get up there and deal with that it's just a whole other beast. And who are your picks for state championships this year?
Well, we haven't been able to see a lot of people. I know Brownsburg's going to finish undefeated probably and win the Hoosier Crossroads, which is the conference we're usually broadcasting. But as far as 5A goes, as we await this kick from Roncalli. It's and it bounces past the up back and doesn't go in the end zone, so he's got to pick it up at his own 4-yard line and is tripped up and brought down and just gets about to the 7 where Decatur Central's offense will take over. As far as 5A, I don't know. You got to think that Carmel, going undefeated in the MIC, which is always a tough task, they probably are the front runner for the 5A state champion. I think a couple teams from the Hoosier Crossroads Conference can make a run. Brownsburg, I think Avon's got the athletes to make a run. We've seen Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern. Fishers is full of playmakers, but it's just going to depend on if they can all put it together for a few games.
Fishers is the most recent 5A winner from the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, so it seems like every year when they're in the playoffs, they seem to do pretty well. As this ball is let loose and intercepted by Roncalli.
And that's the second interception of the night for Brent Goss. So Roncalli gets the ball back and will try to just run this clock out. It's going to be a tall task. Still 4.5 minutes left to go. So as I said, second interception of the night for Brent Goss. His first one was returned for a touchdown in the third quarter. 5A is going to be very interesting. 4A, as far as teams that are leading the pack, I mean, obviously Cathedral and Roncalli are all, you can never count them out, no matter the record. And then Greenwood, now undefeated.
I would just be surprised if Cathedral doesn't win again. You know, they went to the state championship last year against Columbus East with Gunnar Keel as a very, very solid quarterback for them, and they just literally beat the brakes off of them in the state championship. It was, I think, 67-0 or 3. I mean, it was a very big rout. And
I actually went to that game. I went to Cathedral Columbus East.
Was it Columbus North or East?
Columbus East.
Columbus East, okay.
I went to the Cathedral Columbus East game. That was in the sectional or regional. That was played at North Central High School, and was able to watch that, and Cathedral was very impressive and had Gunnar Keel discombobulated all night. Granted, Gunnar probably wasn't surrounded by some of the athletes that Cathedral had.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
Nice tackle there in the backfield made by number 4. And that was on number 4. Dan Harris was the ball carrier. Tackle was made by Jack Weldon, the linebacker. Called his name a few times tonight.
Yeah, he's a very good tackler. And the defensive ends for Decatur Central and the linebacking crew has been very solid tonight. You know, they've really, really stuck in there and stopped the run of this Roncalli sweep that's been so prolific for the last few years. And just a little bit of trouble in the secondary with the man coverage, and very nice throws from the quarterback Roncalli have led to some big plays. So got to keep your head up going into next week. It's the last game of the season, and you know that's the nice thing about Indiana high school football is that any team can have a shot at the state championship. It's just all about how you play in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to make a run. I think in the playoffs, it's just the focus needs to be on consistency. Every single play of the game. It's not like the regular season where you have an off game, you get to play another next week.
Absolutely, and another thing we always talk about is the team that plays mistake-free football. Turnovers are so huge in high school football, and the team that's going to play the most consistently, as you alluded to, and as well as can play a complete game each time is the team that's going to win for the most part. So
the punt is away and into the end zone, but a flag was thrown. We'll see what the call is. It looks like it's going to go against Roncalli, and Decatur Central may elect to have them re-kick it as there's 2 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in the game. Roncalli leads 21-0. The duration of this game so far has been about an hour and 55 minutes.
And to basically summarize what's happened in this game, if you're just now joining us late in the game, is it's been a very evenly matched games with these two teams, and turnovers has been the big story here between Decatur Central and Roncalli, as Decatur Central has given up 3 turnovers and 4 now, including the turnover on downs to begin with. And that's been the main story here, the turnovers and who was able to take care of the ball more. And Roncalli was up to the task and was able to score when they needed to and complete drives. Shotgun
formation as Stevens takes the snap, fires high, and I'm not sure if he was able to bring that in or not. He bobbled it for a second, but it looks like they're going to call it a catch. Only good for 3 yards.
Yeah, it was a very good catch. He did bobble it, but he was able to hold on to it and make that completion there for a couple yards. And that's where you have to start with a sophomore quarterback, is just getting him to make completions, get him on a completion streak, and from there open up your passing game a little bit and allow him to air it out a little bit.
We're seeing the second unit right now for Roncalli, and a very nice pitch there by the quarterback Stevens. And this is going to go all the way for a touchdown unless he's caught, and he's not. And that'll be a Decatur Central touchdown. Maybe a case of too little, too late, but nonetheless, about a 75-yard touchdown there on the run, or on the option rather, around the right side. And that was the first time tonight on the option we've actually really seen Stevens make the defense commit before pitching it.
Yeah, and he sure did. He took a shot. He knew he was going to get hit. Was able to do kind of an awkward pitch, but got the ball to the running back, and he was able to make some plays and scream down that sideline. Had a lot of speed there, and as you alluded to, a little bit too little, too late. But nevertheless, we'll probably see an onside kick, which can get exciting, and hopefully Decatur Central can recover the ball and make something happen here.
So the Hawks get on the scoreboard as we await the extra point. And if you're going to run that option the correct way, you're going to take some hits. And that's the first one he really took tonight, and it sprung him for a touchdown. So kind of have to sacrifice your body for the greater good of the team if you're the quarterback in that scenario. And it's a botched snap, and the kicker tries to get away with it, actually fumbles the ball. So the extra point is no good for Decatur Central. And as Alex said, we'll probably see an onside kick here from the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you were talking about, yeah, you do take a lot of hits when you run that option. And, I remember as a quarterback when they would teach us the veer option when we pitch the ball to basically backpedal, and kind of absorb the hit that you're going to take, because you are going to get rocked almost every single time. And, that option can be scary, having to go in there as a sophomore quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience running the quarterback position, to execute, make your reads. It's a tough task. And, I think for his first game, you can't really say he did too badly. He had a lot of good drives, got them down inside the red zone a few times. And, although he did make some, poor decisions and had a couple arid turnovers, I would say he did a pretty good job for his first game. It's a tough crowd to come in here against Roncalli, and being senior night, all these guys were pretty amped up, but at least I'm glad they were able to get into the end zone. That's the big thing for me.
So Roncalli awaiting the onside kick, hasn't showed it from their return formation quite yet. As Decatur Central, I don't think they're going to really show their hand here of which side they're going to kick it to. They're going to keep the regular kickoff formation.
It looks like the kicker is angling it towards the near sideline, so I'm assuming he will try to kick it over here.
Sometimes you see some misdirection from a different person coming up to take the kick, but they're going to go ahead and shift at the last minute. Takes a short hop, but it's fielded. A nice job there by the return team.
Looks like that was number 14 who fell on the ball, who's pretty much been the solid hands for Roncalli tonight on some passes. Dominique Henn, senior, 6'1", 170. So a very good job in diving on that ball and securing it. And Roncalli's going to have the ball and is probably going to be able to run the clock out here.
Minute and 36 remaining. Roncalli leads by 15, score of 21-6. Decatur Central was down 21-0 and tacked on a late touchdown on a long option play. And we're going to see the snap here taken by Smock for the Rebels. And the pitch is made, and it's stuffed in the backfield. A nice hit there. Trying to make out the number. That looked like maybe 93 for Decatur Central. Angelo Hayes. He's a defensive end. He's been in on a few plays tonight. Makes a nice hit there behind the line of scrimmage, and the Hawks will actually call a timeout here, trying to get the ball back one last time.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like that was, in fact, Angelo Hayes, who's a very good player. In on a lot of plays, very athletic, and also number 45 was in on that tackle as well. Austin Day, once again, have called his name a few times tonight too. He's a senior, 6'2", 205. So, although it's 21-6, Decatur Central has played a pretty good game. We've said that a lot tonight, and execution-wise, have done all right. got to finish drives and looking forward to next week as you end the season. Just practice on basically finishing your drives and executing all the way to the end zone.
So we're going to see the second play here for Roncalli trying to run this clock out. Looks like they will need one more first down in order to end this game. And it's a fumbled snap. Pitch is made, and a nice run there, actually making something out of nothing. He was almost tackled in the backfield, and the ball almost actually deflected.
And it looks like there are a couple second-team players in the quarterback for Roncalli, number 18, Casey Gore, and the running back right there was number 26, Colin McManama. So it's nice to get these guys in there and get some reps for them. And although the snap was fumbled, the running back was able to make a nice little play there.
3rd and 6 for the Rebels. 50 seconds remaining, needing a first down to close out this game. McManama fumbles the pitch and covers it up. It was a little high, but maybe should have been controlled there. So Roncalli will lose 2 yards, and Decatur Central will take yet another timeout. That'll be their last timeout of the half, as they are still desperately trying to storm back here late in the game, and got a glimmer of hope on that long option play on the last series, and we'll see what they can come up with here.
Well, they certainly know that they need to block punt right here. They don't have enough time to try to get a return set up. With only 41 seconds and no timeouts, you got to score quickly and give yourself an opportunity to get an onside kick to get the ball back one last time and see if you can score. But, Roncalli's got to execute this punt here, and I think if they punt the ball out there, it's pretty much game over. So, in conclusion, a very good game by Roncalli. They've been able to get in the end zone, have had a lot of turnovers forced by themselves. Very good job. Their secondary came back and bounced back after last week, giving up 318 yards on 18 throws to Martinsville last week, and I think that was an area that Decatur Central thought that they could expose, basically how Martinsville did last year, and weren't able to do so tonight as Roncalli came up with 3 interceptions tonight. So very good job there, and overall, a very good football game played by Roncalli on senior night.
And now a timeout taken by Roncalli. So as this game has moved pretty fast until about the last 6 minutes of the ball game, and this last 6 minutes seems to have taken about an hour, we're going to get another timeout from the Rebels, and we'll be back after the timeout. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com. All right, 4th down here. As we're going to see a punt, another high snap. I've seen a few of those tonight, but they've been maintained by the punter. It'll take a bounce, and it's fieldable. And he's got a lot of running room. Oh, and is just clobbered at the end of the play, but he had already stepped out of bounds. I think they're going to let that one go. There's a Roncalli player down here, and he is hobbled badly, and that's a big loss. That's number 47, and we've called his name a lot tonight. That's Tyler Mullen, the senior linebacker, and it didn't look good. He tried to walk off on his own and collapsed once again. It looks like it's one of his lower extremities, something with the leg.
He's getting some attention around his knee area, so we really hope it's not any kind of a knee injury that's going to put him out for the rest of the season, but didn't look like he had much contact with anyone and just kind of went down, which a lot of times you see that, and unfortunately
keeping
you take
his
the wrong
leg
step.
Straight.
Yeah, doesn't look real good.
No, it does not. Hopefully he'll be okay. A senseless injury here at the very end of the game. Decatur Central with the ball on their own 42-yard line, going to try to get something going here. I imagine we'll see a shot taken deep by the Hawks and their quarterback. And it's a low throw, and it was actually probably a smart idea not to even dive for that one, as that was just going to waste time on the clock. The pass was intended short to Marcellus Edwards, and I think Tommy Stevens, you don't have any choice at this point but to go deep.
Absolutely.
There's no sense even completing a 3-yard out.
As a coach, you emphasize to the quarterback to hit your reads and the progression that they're there, and obviously that tight end or running back was open in his first read, and so he threw it. But, yeah, I agree with you. You just have to throw deep here. Give your receivers a chance to make a play and maybe come away with a score.
Ball's thrown deep, and he had him.
He caught
was the
ball.
Catch completed? Yes, it was. Good eyes up here from Alex as the catch was completed to number 8, Marcellus Edwards. And they're hustling up to get to the line of scrimmage. 20 seconds remain.
Fortunately, in high school football, the clock stops after a first down, and you have to wait on the chain gang to get up there. So Decatur Central's fortunate enough to have the clock stopped and get themselves up there and run a play.
17 seconds. Shotgun here. Stevens has to let it go. He throws deep. He's got a man again. And the catch is made at the 5-yard line. 9 seconds remain. As they're going to run up to the line of scrimmage.
You just don't really see a sense of urgency by the chain gang to get up there. They're just kind of walking up there. A lot of times the chain gang in high school football are parents or volunteered.
And they ran off 3 seconds on the game clock up there for a spike.
Yeah, it's at that point with 9 seconds left, you almost just run a play and throw it into the end zone. If you catch it for a touchdown, great. If not, it's probably going to be one more play and call it quits for the night.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how this end of this game unfolds. 6 seconds left. I mean, hypothetically, only 1 second is taken off the clock on an onside kick, unless it bounces around a little bit. It'd be interesting to see if they do score, if there'd be even any time left after the score or after the onside. They run the ball.
And that should be the game
tripped
right
up. And that will be the game as the clock ticks to 0. And Roncalli will win this one here at home on senior night, 21-6 against Decatur Central. Decatur Central shows a lot of resiliency and a lot of fight down to the end, fighting tooth and nail to try to roar back, but it just was too little too late, and the Rebels will win this ball game. So this week is over, and we'll be back next week for the final game of the regular season for high school football here in Indiana. We'll be doing the Zionsville-Avon game, I believe. For Aaron and Alex, signing off from AudioSportsOnline.com.